welcome to the first podcast episode on the In.sync podcast. We are super excited to finally make this happen. We've tried a couple of times, didn't work out, but here we are finally. So it's not just me talking, there's also my dear friend Tanya.
Hi.
Hi. On the other side, I'm currently in Germany. Tanya is in Tel Aviv. I just want to give a quick overview of what we will be talking about. So clearly, you guys don't know us. So we will do a quick intro, and we want to really talk about and dive right into what this podcast is about. So it's called In Sync, which is short for in synchronicity. In synchronicity with life, with business, with anything really. So we want to talk about what spirituality, business and ambition and all of that have in common. It's not one or the other. So that's really something that we are passionate about, and we want to dive right into that topic today, but also really just want to get your view on if that's maybe something that's interesting to you guys and what you guys would like to hear more about. But we'll start with an intro, and Tanya has the pleasure, the fun, I don't know, to intro me, and then I'll do the same for you.
Awesome. Yeah, so we wanted to give you guys a brief overview about who we are, so we know you know who you have to do it with, and if you really want to listen to us in the future. And I have the pleasure to introduce Katharina to you. Short form is Kat. As you mentioned, she's currently headquartered in Germany, for sure not for long. Headquartered, yes.
Don't
yes,
say it like that.
Or
that sounds so permanent.
Or stuck because of Corona. But yeah, as I know her, for sure she will leave soon to new adventures. Some sunnier places and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we know each other for quite some years now, and I still don't know the date by heart, but Kat does somehow, at least a year, right?
2012.
2012, yeah, I just don't remember that. But
there's only one Facebook event that I have on my Facebook page, and for some reason it started. I don't even know why.
That we met, right?
That we met,
yeah. I saw that one.
So that's why I know.
Yeah, it's just there because it's such a strong bond that we have. So Facebook just meant, that is important. We should remember that date. So yeah, we met in 2012 when our startup journey kind of started for the both of us. We were working in a startup company in Vienna together. And we met there. She was an intern, I was an intern, and we started to bond a bit, got on different adventures together, and Kat decided to pursue her career in consulting, where I was still in the startup bubble. And over the years, she actually moved to London, which I found incredibly admirable because I always wanted to move to London. And
let's not forget
that I brought you there. So I kind of forced her to go with me on a 24-hour trip to London.
Yeah.
We just went there for shopping basically and partying. Did we party even?
No, we didn't.
Why did I say that now? We didn't even book a hotel or anything. We just heard that for 24 hours. Crazy. And it was her first time, and she took.
Okay, I know why you said that. I know why you said that, because in your head you still think that we are party people. In reality, we are not. We have never been.
So not. Never.
We enjoy having conversations over voice message or.
Not in clubs, for sure not.
Not in clubs,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
but
I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, but I figured, if you go to 24 hours to London, what do you do? Shopping and party. But yeah, actually, no, we didn't.
We didn't. Yeah,
but we saw.
21 and 22 back then.
Wow. You don't need to point out the age difference, 1 year. So yeah, that was how her love for London began, kind of, and why she moved there at some point. And over the years, she's pursued her career. She was always dope, and she one thing that I wanted to point out during her career is despite being in a very competitive environment like consulting, she always stayed true to herself and true to her values and what is important for her, which means health, her meditation practice, and having a life for herself, not a lot like what most of consultants are doing, working late hours and just being on the job. And despite all of her taking care of herself, or maybe that's why, she still had a great career and got a lot of promotions during that time. And at some point, she decided she needs to follow her true passion and going back into the entrepreneurship scene, which I was so stoked about, because I was like, finally, something that I can relate to, because that never like resonated with me, the consulting part, and I never got that, why she was so passionate about it. But of course, she truly learned a lot during that time. And she finally went to Singapore because she needs to do things to the extreme. So she's like following her passion to the other side of the world. Great. So she was there, stuck around for a year, loved the life to travel a lot, and I was a bit jealous during that time because she was really like a free bird traveling to Australia, and worked from there for the company in Singapore, and really built her skills when it comes to leadership and the startup environment. And I think this is something where we truly connected and on another level as well, because it was also a lot of business sense and a lot of like the same things that we learned from each other when it comes to leadership and what is important in terms of building a business and being your own boss. And I love the conversation. And as you mentioned already, we do a lot of voice messages, and that's also one of the reasons why we started this podcast, because we wanted to have it saved somewhere properly. So this is why we're bringing the podcast to you. And she was there, and at some point she decided, no, that's also not it. And now she is stuck in Germany.
It wasn't that simple, but
it wasn't that simple. I'm simplifying.
Never mind.
But at some point we will for sure have an episode about like a lot of things that happens during a startup journey. And now she's like on. I would use a pause button, and if I would be you, just enjoying life now, break in between. But no, like she is not, of course, working tremendously a lot on herself, doing a lot of like, things how you can improve your personal growth. She built her own portfolio. She's starting her freelancing career now, and besides, like instead of just resting and taking days off, of course she's like taking it to the extreme, but on a very natural level. I need to say
I tell you
very
what,
healthy.
There's not many crises like that coming around, and you don't want to look back and say, oh, what did I do in this crisis? I was like watching Netflix,
but I need to say it would also be okay if some people
okay,
I think it's good to also take a rest, and I think this is something you can learn onto an entrepreneurial journey, to just like breathe and take a rest if life provides you with it. I'm not saying that this is the one solution, but I found it very admirable what you're making out of it, and not that I'm taking a rest. But
exactly. Like, who are you to tell me that?
But you're in between jobs, so to say. And so instead of like just doing nothing, she built her or she's about to build her own career now, going into freelancing work and sharing her gift of combining strategy, consulting, and operations on a like startup, but also on a regular company level. And sharing it with others and helping others to improve, which I found tremendously valuable. Obviously, I love your insights. I love your brain. I love how everything is like getting together for you. And I'm curious what the next years have in petto for you, to be honest. And besides that, because there was a lot of your career thingies, she's an amazing person. Despite being German, I need to mention that once again. Because I'm originally...
Honestly, I did not even know that was an issue between us.
I know.
Until this podcast.
It is not an issue. I got over it that you're German, so I'm Austrian. So there is a natural tendency to not like each other, but Kat is different, so that's why I'm okay with her being German. And like,
I'm so glad.
Yeah, you're welcome. We share a lot of things, like the passion for like personal growth and the spirituality topic. Also like food, we are inspiring each other a lot of it, like when it comes to vegetarians or being vegan, so to say, doing a lot of things for our body, and that's something that is very true to her heart as well. And I think
amazing.
Yes.
Such a nice intro. So guys, just so you know, I wanted to introduce myself, and I wanted Tanya to introduce herself, and then she said, no, let's do it the other way around. And I find this is actually so much more fun, and I never knew about this German thing until this podcast. So
here you go.
I'm
waiting for some
does that tell you, All right, so my turn. Tanya, again, I met in 2012. Tanya has, I know you not always saw it like that. Like, but I always kind of felt a very strong bond between us when we met. So obviously a friendship goes through different phases and like different life stages, and then there's phases where you speak more and there's phases where you speak less and where you have other priorities. But I always felt like we have a lot in common. We have a strong bond. And we met in the startup environment, and what I noticed about you right away is you just do your own thing. Like, you do not even get distracted by, should I take a normal job, or like,
God, no. God.
should I build, like, I don't know, should I go work for this company or so. So that I found like super impressive from you right in the beginning, and we were very young back then, right? And it's very easy to get distracted by other things. Whereas I was like, okay, you know, I was planning it rationally. Or I did university, and now I need to go to, I need to take a proper job, blah blah blah.
But that's so German.
Yeah, maybe also, yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I think it's interesting because it was the same environment, right?
Yeah.
So that makes me think, like, why was I seeking that security, whereas you were completely open to whatever? So it was very interesting, because I already could tell, like, you did not even have that thought in your mind, like, should I do this? You just went for it straight away. And you did so Tanya then did a couple of other startups, founded her own startup, got into startup life fairly early after that, right? Like fairly shortly after that, I think, and has obviously made herself a huge name in Austria over the last couple of years, shaping the Austrian startup system, and
that stays on the tape. It's not going to be deleted.
Okay.
Can you just brag a bit about me? My ego loves that.
and supporting female entrepreneurs and everyone else and her friends, and like has basically been building an incredible community around herself. And yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, you were on the cover of Handelsblatt?
What?
Handelsblatt?
No, Trend. It's called
Trend.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a huge magazine as well in Austria, as one of the 100 most influential business women in Austria. And I mean, I nearly bursted out of pride for you, because I have seen you like on that journey from 2012, and so whereas a lot of people, you know, they get jealous or have envy or so, they don't understand everything that you put into it to get to that level. So as I say, it takes a lot to just, you know, go for what you want and really build your own path and not getting distracted by society and all of that. And I can tell for myself, because I've done multiple journeys, like corporate, then startup, now also going back into self-employment, and it takes a lot mentally to be able to stay true to yourself and do that. So I was bursting for pride, as you could tell. And I was like, my friend, she made it.
I know her.
And yeah, so I mean, ever since then, we've practically been on each other's journey, but over the last couple of years, more so. And especially in the last year or two, where I've also started self-employment and my startup journey, because obviously there's a lot more that we can now connect on. Yeah. We also started to work together on a couple of business things, and I've basically, I just always thought that we need to do something together. I've had this in my mind for
all the time
for many years, right? And so then and you were always like, no, I'm busy, blah blah, I don't know.
blah blah. Fine, I was busy, for the record.
I am too, but still, like, I feel like, you know, we really need to create something together. And so then I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna plant these seeds, and, you know, eventually this is gonna grow into something or not, and then we plant other seeds. Like, that's just how it works. And then we've been voice messaging for many, many years daily, and talking about each other's growth journey and where we are at, helping each other out. And sometimes I find these conversations so valuable, to the point that I truly believe that some of the lessons that we learn and insights that we have might be valuable for other people. I also know that definitely. From like, getting feedback from people, right?
Yeah, you know, when I thought about like doing the podcast and all, I was also like, okay, I mean, maybe it's like not useful for anyone out there what we went through, even though I don't think so. I felt like even if we can like help one person out there with the lessons we learned and the insights we gathered, then it's worth it already. Like my KPI is that I hear one feedback within the next month when we publish it, that this was useful and they can apply it to their own life. And then I'm like, yes, done, thank you.
Yes, 100%. And this is also interesting, and I think this also holds a lot of people back from doing stuff, is because they always think it's almost like they think their total addressable market is everyone. But it's not the case. Like everyone is on a different growth journey. Everyone has different priorities in life, and everyone has different mediums to also obtain information. So this format and the journey that you and I are currently on, being being self-employed, trying to balance a good life between like all the work things that we do, but also enjoying life to the fullest, tapping into spirituality, tapping into personal growth. You need to be on a specific journey to be able to relate to that. And so I agree with you. Like I find, if we even find a few of people who say this is really valuable for me,
not only my mom.
My mom is also listening. She is also like, oh, I'm listening. It's like, I know. So then that's already worthwhile. And and therefore I was so keen to plant that seed with you, because I felt like it's incredible how we've been on the same journey for many years. And obviously it's always different.
Yeah. And it's crazy how often we said, hey, listen, didn't you go through something similar? Like what, 6 months ago or something? Like, I don't know how often we said that in the last years, but that was crazy. So yes, you said that maybe I didn't feel it, but I felt it as well, that there's a strong bond between us from the very beginning. And yes, even if we lost some touch points in between, I think it's crazy what we both achieved and how we support each other throughout this journey. And that you can always feel, okay, there is something between us that we both can so relate to each other. And I need to emphasize that once again, Kat and me, we're seeing each other maybe, if life is getting good to us, like once a year. Like we literally never see each other, because either she's living in London, we was back in Vienna, then I moved to Tel Aviv, she was living in Singapore, now she's in Germany, like I don't even know where exactly it is, all those things. And despite like this distance, the friendship was so strong. And I think it was because we went through so many similar things, and it was so easy to relate to your life journey, because despite being so different, it was so many similarities, which I found incredible. So that's just very powerful, the connection, I think.
And also, and when people see others developing, they only see, like, for example, people look at your magazine mention and they think, wow, she's really got it figured out. But then I've been on but then I've been on the other side, and like I've seen like the conversations that we had that led up to that.
She definitely did not figure it out.
Let me tell you guys.
That's all the insights.
And I've been on the other side, so I've been like not helping you, but like speaking with you through that time, and I know what was relevant to you at certain point. And same for you, right? A lot of people say to me, oh my God, like how did you have such a good career, and then you moved to Singapore, did your own, and now you do how can you just create a new business within like a few weeks and stuff. And it's like I said to my friend the other day, because now I have like a few weeks back I had no one to work with, and no one was hiring, and so now I have a few clients, and then my friend said to me, oh, it seems to be like really easy, and I was like, no. Like these were like 300 pictures. I got to a point where I wrote down on my cards, rejection is a gift, and I put it on my desk alongside with other affirmations, and that was the journey that I had to go through now to like get 3 clients. And yes, of course, to do something with that Corona time, which is amazing, but like let's not forget everything that led to it. And I think this is so amazing to see what exactly it is that gets people to where they are. And that's really something that I would love to share openly on this podcast, so people.
No, we had so many redirections in life through rejections, and I see the same thing. Like just because something is not working the way you thought it should, it doesn't mean that it's something bad. And I mean, so many things got wrong during the last years in my career, where like, if I would be defeatable by that just because like something closed or it didn't go the way that I wanted it, I wouldn't be here either. But I always try to see everything that life gives you as an opportunity, and I think this is like a major gift once you switch that towards switch that around in your mind, and not see it as like, you know, defeating, but like just, okay, well then let's try another way. And once you're open to that, like, it's crazy what life has to offer for you, because you can't know, like, but it's another topic. But, you know, if you think that you can control life, and I mean, we are so small in the universe, and that we even think about that we are smarter than life itself and the power that it has. I mean, it's like, yeah, I want to fill a whole episode about that. I love it. So yeah.
This is such an amazing topic in general, like this whole personal development journey, which I think a lot of people these days are on. I feel like it's really taking on a lot of movement.
Yeah, it's great. Or maybe it's just our bubble. I don't know. That's what, you never know, you know, coming in or being born into the startup scene and entrepreneurial community where people are anyways driven and more open towards like this personal. It's more optimization, I think, there. Even about development, is really about making the best out of your time and resources to achieve the best. I think that could be a bit unhealthy also. But I think in general, the entrepreneurial community is very much into development itself.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a lot of optimization there coming in, because I think there's a bit of a differentiation here. You can be like into personal growth, but that's on that optimization. How do I get the most out of my time? But I think, I mean, at least I can only speak for me really, but from what's important for me is to be self-optimized, yet still be in synchronicity with everything else that's happening, right? And like, I don't want to get to a point where I'll be like, oh great, now I've achieved, you know, that 6-number or 7-number business in a few months, but I'm really lacking on my friendships, on my relationships.
Well, let's see if we get there and then see and reevaluate.
Hey, come on. I mean,
you know, one of our things that we said towards this podcast is that we say we will always be true and honest and having authentic communication. So yes, if I would know something, like honestly speaking now, that gives me at least some parts of like self-optimization skills that I can achieve like a 6 or 7 figure business with just like some tricks, I would do that. I would give it a try. But like whatever I read out there is not like something that I feel that can, you know, achieve in being true to myself.
I mean, I would totally do it as well, but only for the reason that I then know that enables me with the freedom to, you know, to live a life in alignment with what's important to me. So, I mean, there's always like situations where you have to sacrifice on stuff. So if you like,
that's another thing for an episode. I don't know. Is it that way? Is it just something that you think you need to sacrifice? Really, I'm not sure.
I think I do think there's always a bit to sacrifice. Like, for example, I mean, just looking at my last 2 or 3 years, every major jump that I made from consulting into startup was the sacrifice that I made is I had to leave London, which is my favorite city in the world, and I had to leave all my friends in Singapore.
But I don't think that you would have really needed to leave London if you would have waited.
I felt like I needed a strong like cut.
Yeah, see, but that's what you felt. I think there would be enough possibilities to kind of.
But I think it wouldn't have been possible otherwise to that extent, because I was really put in a situation where I then had to spend a lot of time again on like self-development.
That's
to
true.
Like cope with the change and make like a lot of jumps. So.
And no, I think it was the best opportunity for you back then, like to go to Singapore. Like everything that was happening for you there, I think was just great in terms of how it helped you on your journey. But I think it wasn't really like, I mean, yes, I do get it for leaving London for a year, but I felt it would have been different if you really wanted or made it a priority to stay in London. I think there would have been an opportunity for you as well.
Yeah, maybe. But in that moment, I only had this one. And so I felt it was a really big sacrifice for me back then. Yeah, we'll get there. She's showing me the watch that, you know, we need to stop soon. Okay. Can I just finish my sentence?
Sure, do that.
So, you know, I felt like this was a big sacrifice, and then now I'm stuck in Germany, and like my top value is independence and freedom, and I'm not able to, you know, leave my parents' place at the moment. You know, I turned 30 this week. It's like, you know, I've really done I mean, I love my parents and stuff, but I really don't want to be
Yeah,
here for that long of a period. But in that moment, I then had the opportunity to build something new. So my point being is there's always sacrifices coming with any opportunity. So it's not just, oh, great, you build that business and everything works for you. No, there's also a lot of downsides, if you will. But I just don't, I prefer to not see it as downside. I call it a sacrifice, but I think it's a good sacrifice, right? There's also good sacrifice.
I mean, I want to pick that up for sure in another episode, because I think there's so many sides
cutting
towards
me
it.
short.
Yeah, I agree, because we said we want to have it in 25 minutes and we're on 23 already now, I think 25. So, I mean, to wrap it up in terms of what we wanted to achieve with this podcast was really to just share our journey with you guys, seeing if this is of value for you, if you can take away some learnings as well, if you can apply to your own life, to some parts of it at least, and to bring to you like really raw and honest conversations that are out of our life. So we try obviously not to
but also about other topics.
Yes, no, about everything, like
spirituality, personal growth,
exactly,
love, relationships, business.
And I think before we close it, we need to just say or define one thing, because I think that was the number one discussion between us, if we should put the word spirituality anywhere in the description of it. So to define spirituality, what it means to us, and then what it means in the whole journey of this podcast, because I think it has a very bad kind of meaning towards it. It's a lot of like woo-woo, it's like a lot of people are saying it, and it doesn't really have a place in a business sense or in a business world because of the woo-woo part. So my question to you is, how would you define it? What is spirituality to you?
To me?
No, to you. Yeah, not to the audience. To you.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought you want to have like real feedback from me.
No, but yeah. If you guys have feedback as well, but I wanted to have Kat's opinion on it.
Okay, so I mean, we talk a lot about like personal growth and all of that, but for me, what it comes down to is spirituality. So I don't. I do spiritual practices like meditation, for example, for years. But spirituality, in my opinion, is not about like sitting there meditating or like withdrawing from conversations and conflicts. For me, it's a tool to be able to reflect and respond instead of reacting. It's a tool to be able to see where you have your strength, where you have your weaknesses, and act accordingly. So you can then align your, who you are with the external world. So I define, when I talk about personal growth and all of that, for me, it all comes down to the term spirituality, because when you have that mindset, you are able to personally grow. So I personally really do think that my spiritual approach has helped me in business so far. So that's why I would like to talk about that word in particular.
No, it's funny, because also for me, I think for me, and I researched again, because that was the one thing I didn't want to discuss in the first episode, because shit, she's so spiritual, she's doing all the meditation, Kat is super into that, and I was like, am I? I mean, I'm not meditating a lot, but I needed to actually research the term, and then I realized, because I did never research it before, even though I believe in a lot of purpose things and signs of the universe and a lot of being true to yourself and listen to your gut, or to intuition. I never researched spirituality. I don't know. So coming up with that, the term was it's a sense of connection to something bigger, and that's obviously resonating so much with me, because again, as I mentioned quite early on in this podcast episode, I believe that we are very small in this world. It's a fact. We're very small. We're a lot, but we're very small, and we cannot really know what is actually going on and what life has in petto for us. And I really believe that there's a life force out there that is way bigger and is kind of shaping us who we are and giving us all the opportunities and opening doors for us. And it also means a search for meaning in life, which I find also very true, because I also pursue something that I feel is even truer to my heart day by day. And I also not know for sure yet what it will be in the end, but whatever I do, I decide towards my intuition and what where it guides me to. And my life wouldn't be the way it is now, that I live in Tel Aviv, that I have a dog, which name is translating into my happy place, which I always describe Tel Aviv as. And all those little things, they wouldn't have been possible if I wouldn't have trusted intuition and life itself, and if I would try to just design the way that I wanted to it, enforce things, or like go by the books, or go by people telling me the way I should do and things like that. So that's my connection to spirituality. It doesn't really need to be yoga or meditation. It's just for me being aligned with what you are supposed to do in life, and listen towards it, and being open that there is possibility out there, that life is smarter than you. Yes.
Yes. That's a beautiful definition. I like that. I personally see you as a very spiritual person.
Yeah, thanks. My ego doesn't like that, but yeah.
Your ego should love that. No, actually not. It should like it. It should dislike it. Yeah.
It's like, wait, life is smarter. Hey, I am smarter.
We need to do an episode on ego as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, this is going to be so interesting. And then I'm going to let my ego talk, and then you're going to let yours talk.
Oh God, yeah.
And then we see, the two different versions of ourselves.
Yes. I would love that. I'm digging that. Okay, let's do that. And I mean, I think we can close the episode now, because I think we guys gave you a pretty good overview about who we are and what we're doing and what is close to our heart and why we're doing the things. Or do you want to add something at this point? And
no, I'm just so excited to launch.
Yeah, me too. And the last time we tried to record the first episode, which is this one, and we failed. We said we will talk about how to thrive in a competitive business environment as a spiritual person the next time, because Kat, as I mentioned earlier, comes from strategy consulting part, and me coming also from the startup scene, and it is very competitive there. And is it even possible to have a career in these sectors as a spiritual person that is true to herself? As we both prove it, yes.
Yes.
And we want to share how we did it and what does it take to be successful in those environments, and how to stay true to yourself despite all the elbow techniques. Is this even a thing in English? Yeah.
Elbow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
Yeah.
Okay,
let's close it.
It's not getting any better here. Yeah, cool. So tune in for next week.
For sure.
And that's it. Thanks for listening, guys.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I hope so. Me there alone. And if you have any feedback or anything that you want to listen to and want us to talk about, obviously we're happy to share whatever you ask for. Yes. Doesn't matter. No boundaries here. Not just kidding. Maybe a bit. Let's see.
Maybe. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.